Most English learners think being polite means being quiet. But staying silent when you disagree is not politeness. It is a trap. And today we are going to show you exactly how to escape it. You're listening to Fluent English Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Every episode, we have real, everyday conversations so you can hear natural English and pick it up just by listening.
Okay, so Emma, quick question before we dive in. Has anyone ever corrected you, told you that you were wrong about something, and you just felt it land differently than they probably meant it?
Oh, constantly. And I think that is actually the perfect place to start today, because that feeling, that little sting you get when someone disagrees with you in the wrong way, that is exactly what we are talking about.
Right. And here is the thing. The disagreement itself is not always the problem. It is how it is delivered. Two people can say the exact same thing, disagree about the exact same topic, and one of them walks away feeling respected, and the other one walks away feeling attacked.
And if you are learning English, this is huge, because a lot of learners, and I say this with so much love, a lot of learners learn the grammar perfectly. They learn the vocabulary, they can construct a beautiful sentence, but then they say something like, "No, you are wrong," and suddenly the whole room goes a little cold.
And they had no idea why.
No idea, because in their first language, maybe that phrase is totally normal. Maybe in their culture, directness is just how you talk. No harm meant.
Totally. And this is something I think about with my French, actually. I have been learning French for a while now, and one of the things that surprised me early on was how certain phrases that felt polite to me in English, when I translated them roughly into French, they came across as either weirdly stiff or, in one case, kind of rude. And I had zero intention of being rude.
That is such a good example because it works the other way, too. I study Spanish, and there are ways of phrasing things in Spanish that feel very warm and natural to a Spanish speaker. But if you translate them word for word into English, they can sound almost aggressive. Language is not just words. It is culture. It is history. It is social rules that nobody ever wrote down.
Nobody ever wrote down. That is the key part. Nobody gave you a rule book.
Right. So that is what we are doing today. We are writing a little piece of that rule book for you, specifically the part about disagreement.
Let's get into it.
So let's start with the most basic thing. Why does it even matter how you disagree? Like, if I think you are wrong, why can't I just say that?
You can, and sometimes you should. There are absolutely moments where being direct is the right move. If someone tells you that the fire exit is on the left and you know it is on the right, you do not need to say, I see it a little differently. You say, no, it is on the right. Let's go.
Okay, fair, yes. Context matters. But in everyday social conversations, in the workplace, in casual discussions, there's a huge difference between what you say and how the other person receives it. And that gap, that space between what you meant and what they heard, that is where miscommunication lives.
And in English specifically, there's this interesting cultural thing where directness, especially blunt directness, can come across as aggression even when it's not meant that way. English, especially American English, has this whole layer of what linguists sometimes call face-saving. You want to disagree without making the other person feel embarrassed or dismissed.
Face-saving. I love that term. It basically means you want the other person to still feel respected even after you've told them you disagree with them.
Exactly. You're not attacking them. You're challenging the idea. And that distinction is really important.
Say that again, because I think that is the core of this whole episode.
You are not attacking the person. You are challenging the idea. The moment someone feels personally attacked, the conversation is over. They stop listening, they start defending, and you get nowhere.
And a phrase like, "you are wrong," attacks the person, even though grammatically it is about what they said.
Right, because "you are wrong" puts the wrongness on them, on who they are in that moment. But "I see it a little differently" puts the difference on the perspective. It says, here are two views, and mine is different from yours. Neither of us is stupid, we just see it differently.
That is such a subtle but powerful shift.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's talk about actual phrases, real ones that you can use starting today. And Emma, let's do this in a way that shows the before and after, like the blunt version and then the polished version.
Oh, I love that. Okay, you go first.
All right, blunt version, that is not right.
Polished version, I think there might be a different way to look at that.
good. Or even, I'm not sure that it's quite right, actually. That word actually is interesting, by the way. In English, actually can be used to gently introduce a correction. It softens it.
It does. It's like a little cushion before the correction. Actually, I think it does not feel like an attack.
Next one. Blunt version. You are wrong.
Polished version. I see it a little differently. Or, that's an interesting point, but I think... And notice the structure there. You acknowledge what they said first. That's an interesting point. Then you introduce your disagreement. But I think...
That structure, acknowledge then redirect, is incredibly useful. It shows you heard them, it shows you took them seriously, and then you bring in your view.
Another one. Blunt version. No, that is not how it works.
Polished version. I think I have heard it explained a slightly different way. Would you mind if I shared what I know?
Oh, that one is good, because you are even asking permission. Would you mind if I shared? You are being so respectful that they almost have to say yes.
And now they're open. Now they're ready to listen because they chose to listen.
Okay, one more. Blunt version. I disagree.
Now this one is interesting because I disagree is not actually rude. It's direct, but it's clean. It's professional. In a formal setting, like a meeting or a debate, saying I disagree is perfectly fine.
But in casual conversation, it can still feel a bit sharp, right? Like if your friend tells you their favorite movie is great and you say, I disagree, it's a little...
It's a little much.
Yes, in that case, maybe, I don't know, I kind of see it differently. Or, really, I actually had a different reaction to it.
And the word kind of is doing a lot of work there. I kind of see it differently. It's softer. It's less absolute.
English learners, write that down. Kind of and sort of are your friends when you want to soften something.
So, Emma, let's do the thing we talked about. Let's act out a little scene. Same disagreement, two versions. Blunt first, polish second.
Let's do it. What's the scenario?
Okay, you and I are co-workers. We're talking about a project deadline. You think we need 2 more weeks. I think we're ready now.
Perfect. Blunt version, go.
Emma, I think we can submit the project by Friday.
No, we are not ready. We need 2 more weeks.
That is too long. You are wrong about the timeline.
I am not wrong. You are rushing it.
No, I am not.
And scene. Did you feel that?
It went nowhere. It immediately became about who was right and who was wrong, about the people, not the project.
Okay, polished version now. Same situation.
Emma, I have been thinking we might be able to submit the project by Friday. What do you think?
I see where you're coming from, and I know we're both eager to move forward. I'm just a little concerned that we might be rushing it. Would it be worth taking 2 more weeks to be sure everything is solid?
That is a fair point. What specifically feels unfinished to you?
Mainly the 3rd section. I think if we give it another pass, it will be much stronger.
Okay, I hear you. Maybe a week and a half? We can reassess on Wednesday?
That works for me. Thank you for hearing me out.
And scene.
Same disagreement, completely different energy.
And notice, nobody won. Nobody lost. They found a middle ground. That is what polite disagreement makes possible. When you attack someone, they defend. When you respect someone, they collaborate.
I want to say that again because it is so good. When you attack someone, they defend. When you respect someone, they collaborate.
Let's talk about some specific phrases, more of them, that you can keep in your back pocket. Emma, you want to run through some?
Yes, okay. Here is a list of really useful phrases. I will say them, and Alex can comment on a few. First, I think there might be another way to look at this.
This one is great, because might be makes it tentative. You're not saying there is another way, you are saying there might be. It is humble.
Second, that is a fair point, and I also think
the and there is key, not but. And keeps the energy open. But can feel like you are erasing what they said. And adds to it.
yes, but is a tiny word that carries a big eraser. Third, I hear you, and I wonder if we could also consider...
I wonder if is so useful, so useful. It's almost like thinking out loud. You're not demanding they accept your view, you're just wondering, inviting them to wonder with you.
Fourth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought...
Oh, this one is clever. You're putting yourself in a position of possibly being wrong before they even respond. It takes all the pressure off them.
Fifth, I could be mistaken, but...
Same idea. You pre-admit the possibility that you might be off, which makes the other person feel safe. They're less likely to get defensive.
Sixth, that is one way to see it. Another way might be...
This one is very neutral. You're not saying their way is bad. You're just offering another option, like placing a book on a shelf next to theirs. Both books can exist.
And the last one for this section, I appreciate your perspective, though I do see it a bit differently.
That, though, is doing the same job as but softer. It is a gentle pivot.
Okay, I want to bring up something that listeners might be wondering, which is, does this feel fake? Like if I say all these polished phrases, am I being honest or am I just being performatively polite?
Oh, this is such a good question.
Because some people, especially people from cultures where directness is a sign of respect, they might feel like this whole approach is a bit dishonest. Like, why not just say what you mean?
And I want to validate that feeling. I think it is a real and fair thing to wonder. But here's how I think about it. Being polite is not the same as being fake. Choosing your words carefully is not the same as hiding what you think.
Right. You still disagree. You are still saying it. You are just packaging it in a way that the other person can actually receive. Because what is the point of being honest if the other person has already shut down and stopped listening?
Exactly. Communication is not just about transmission. It is about reception. You can send a message all day long, but if it never lands, if the other person never truly hears it, what did you accomplish?
And this is actually something that came up for me when I was studying Spanish. I noticed that in Spanish, there are so many ways to phrase a request or a correction that already assume cooperation. Like, the language itself has these built-in softeners. And for a long time, I thought, oh, that must feel fake to native speakers. But it does not. It just becomes the natural way of expressing yourself.
It becomes your habit. And I think that is the goal here. Not to perform politeness, but to build new habits in English so that respectful communication becomes your natural default.
And then it's not fake at all, it's just you.
Let's talk for a second about tone. Because here is the thing. You can say the most polished, beautiful phrase in the world, and if your tone is cold or sharp, none of it matters.
This is so true. Tone carries the real message. The words are almost secondary.
For our listeners who are working on spoken English, pay attention to where your voice goes at the end of a sentence. In English, when you are disagreeing but staying warm and open, your voice tends to stay level or even rise slightly at the end. When your voice drops hard and flat, it signals finality. It signals, I am done, I have decided.
And that is fine sometimes. But in a collaborative conversation, you want to signal that the door is still open. Keeping your voice a little warmer, a little softer in pitch goes a huge distance.
Also, pace. If you slow down slightly when you introduce a disagreement, it signals that you are being thoughtful, that you are choosing your words. Rushing through a disagreement can make it sound like you fired off a response without really listening.
And then even your best words can sound dismissive.
Even your best words.
Let's also quickly touch on written English, because a lot of our listeners are using English at work, in emails and messages and comments, and tone is even harder to read in writing.
So much harder, because you do not have the voice, you do not have the face, you just have the words.
So in writing, those softening phrases we talked about become even more important. I think there might be another way to look at this. In an email is so much safer than that is wrong.
And one extra tip for writing. Add a warm opening. Before you disagree, say something genuine like, thanks for sharing this, or I really appreciate you putting this together. Then introduce your concern. Then end with something collaborative like, would love to hear your thoughts, or let me know what you think.
Beginning, middle, end. Warm, redirect, open door.
That structure will save a lot of relationships and a lot of awkward email threads.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. Alex, what are the 3 things you want someone to walk away with today?
Okay. Number 1, disagree with the idea, not the person. Keep your challenge aimed at the thought, not at who they are. Number 2, use softening language. Phrases like, I see it a little differently, I think there might be another way to look at this, and I could be mistaken, but give the other person room to hear you without getting defensive. Number 3, Tone matters as much as the words. Stay warm, slow down, keep the door open.
I would add one more because I cannot help myself.
Go for it.
Number 4, practice. None of this feels natural the first time. It probably feels a little stiff, a little scripted. But the more you use these phrases, the more they become yours. And one day you will be in a conversation, someone will say something you completely disagree with, and before you even think about it, you will find yourself saying, "That is an interesting point, and I actually see it a little differently." And it will feel completely natural, because it is.
Because it is. I love that. All right, listeners, your homework for today, and yes, we are giving you homework, pick one phrase from today's episode, just one, and try to use it before the end of the week. In a conversation, in an email, in a message to a friend, just try it once.
And if you want a suggestion, our personal favorite from today, I see it a little differently. Simple, clean, respectful. It works in almost any situation.
And hey, if you want to put today's tips straight into practice, go check out our episode called Listen and Repeat, 50 English Sentences for Daily Life.
It is exactly what it sounds like. Real, everyday sentences you can listen to, repeat out loud, and start using right away.
Perfect follow-up to everything we talked about today. This video is on the left side.
Trust us, your English will thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.